One of the things I'd like for you to get out of this class is an understanding that the more work you do before you go to the AI, the better your interaction will be with the AI. You'll take fewer iterations to arrive at something that you're happy with, and I think ultimately it will lead to a better product. Now, with this in mind, I've been working with, I think, Copilot, I can't remember, to develop this idea of a program specification document. And I'm not 100% happy with this one. It's subject to change, but the idea is good. You really need to start off with a good idea of what this program is supposed to do. That'll be down here. You can name it whatever. And here's what you're going to run into with these problem statements or specifications. And your boss is going to come to you and say, well, he or she will say, I need an app that does XYZ. And the thing I want you to remember here is, number one, your boss doesn't know exactly what he or she wants. And they certainly don't know what they need. And it's up to you to figure this out. And the first thing I would say is ask a lot of questions. And the more questions you ask, you get a better idea of what further questions you should ask. And as soon as you get a pretty good idea of what's supposed to happen here and who's going to be using this, you want to go to those people that are the users. Whoever inputs the data, whoever looks at the output or needs the output for their purposes, you need to talk to these people. And if you're talking about users, feel free. Most of the time you're going to do some sort of GUI, I would assume. Sketch it out. Sketch out what you're thinking. Let them kind of look at it and say, well, that workflow doesn't make any sense. Because when we enter something, we go here, here, and here, and then you've got us going way over here, and that's too far. It's not a good workflow. And I really want to stress this whole idea of workflow. If someone's going to be entering data, you want to make it as smooth and streamlined as possible. You want to design your interfaces such that there are minimal opportunities for someone to do it wrong. Now think about that. You want to minimize the chance for someone to do it wrong. Other things I would consider is, and I'll talk about this here in a moment, you're going to have some sort of window, I assume. Only put what's needed in a particular window. So we've been working on the bank application, and most of the interfaces I've saw so far have basically everything in that one little window. So I'm going to show you what I did, and I think it's a better idea. But if something only happens occasionally, don't put it in the main window. Have a button somewhere out of the way. Click here, and we'll go over here and take care of this one task. Then we'll shut that window and come back to the main menu, or main window. So let's look at this program specification briefly. And again, I'm not 100% happy with it, but it's a start. What are your inputs? And I would also tell you, the first time you fill this out, you're probably going to miss, well, I know you're going to miss things. You go back and put those in. Inputs, outputs, and just as a few moments ago I was talking about, go talk to the people who are inputting the data. Also, go talk to the people who are going to be consuming this data. Make sure you have it in a form that works for them, or you'll be writing another program to modify the output into something that they want. Processing steps. Sometimes you'll have some hints here, but a lot of this we want the AI to take care of it for us. Now, we might have some stipulations, we might have some limitations, etc. Same thing for constraints and assumptions. This is where you're going to, a lot of this is going to be based on your discussions with users, both front end and output users. Data structures, I would probably let the AI make a guess there, unless you have specific things that you have to meet, particular specifications, not just things. And this includes files. And skipping on down, test plan. You got to have one. You got to try your very best to make your program fail, because trust me, your users will find out a way to make it fail without even meaning to, and that's not counting the ones that are intentionally trying to break it. So these are all starting points. Now, I'm going to show you something that I did. Actually, I'm not going to show it to you. I'm going to probably cover up most of it because I want you to do it on your own. So what I did here is I, based on my grading and watching everyone else, looking at everyone else's work, I came up with a list of things that I wanted my banking program to do for sure. And this became a prompt, actually. And you have this covered up, but there's 17 things here. And I've already figured out some other things I would add to this. But there's things in here such as the main window should have a next transaction button for additional transactions with the same account. This is assuming someone wants to make more than one deposit, etc. So that's one thing I added here. All transaction amounts should be positive. Let's see what else. Oh, the main window should have a button to open up a second window to handle new account creation. So little things like this, some of which you all have actually been doing, and some things that I added. So now let me show you what this looks like after I fed this to the AI. And I actually had another version of this that I liked better, but I had to restart my computer. And I managed to lose that code. Well, it's probably here somewhere. But this will show what I want to show. So this is the main window. And if you want to create a new account, you click here. You can create your account here, then click create, and that happens. It's not in the main window interfering with your workflow. Next transaction, of course, that's pretty well straightforward. What I've got working here so far is everything's based on last name and account number. And if you want to find a particular name or account number, you click on search. Again, you get another window here, and So far I've got some users in there. So let's see, all these are Smiths, and one of the assumptions we have here so far is that hopefully the teller knows, who they're dealing with. But that's another story. So let's assume it's Jane Smith. You can select. Notice it brings the account number over and the name as well. Now if I want to know what's currently in the account, I can do status. So Jane Smith has $387 in there. Transaction history opens up over here. Now this is everything that's happened so far. There was 2 deposits and they add up to 387. So again, that happens somewhere, off screen, off the main window or out of the main window. And if I want to do a transaction, let's do a withdrawal. And this is one of the things I'm a little bit unhappy with. I'd like to have the withdrawal over here or this over there, because I don't like to go all the way back over here. And now click update. And again, that flow could be better. So here's our new balance. And if I want to do another transaction, next transaction, the account information's kept in there. And let's assume this is going to be a deposit. Update. And let's check the history. And there you go. So, and another thing that I think is interesting here is, and I can't remember which AI I was using, but it did this automatically. If I'm here and I hit the tab key, notice I move down to account number, tab again, transaction amount, tab again, goes to withdrawal. If I want to withdraw, I just press the space bar and it switches over. Same thing here, tab over, space bar, there you go. Tab, now I'm on update, and if I press enter here, it's actually going to add in another $567, I think. Actually, this is something I'm not happy with so far. I pressed enter, but it didn't update. It was waiting for the mouse click. And that's something I want you to consider is, if you think about, if you consider data entry, anytime you have to take your hands, or in this case hand, off the keyboard and grab the mouse and do something and then release the mouse and go back to the keyboard, that takes a lot of time. And it's actually kind of hard on you physically, I think. So as much as possible, you want to come up with a method where if someone's doing this frequently, that tabs will move them through a workflow logically, and enter and spacebar are going to minimize the amount of times that the user has to take their hands off the keyboard. So that's a workflow. So anyway, with my 17 suggestions, AI come up with this, which is functional. And I would actually rearrange these buttons a certain amount. Some of these I think could easily be below this this box here where I see results. For example, reset, new account, probably transaction history could very well be underneath this. And I think that would cut down on confusion, um, and improve the flow, I think. So I want you to think about these things, and what I'm going to have you do is, you've got 2 or 3 iterations of your banking program. I want you to sit down and basically do what I did, think this through, and come up with a number of recommendations or requirements, and feed those back into AI and see what it looks like with some refinement.